Welcome back to another episode of Essence of Watercolor. Now, my lighting is slightly off because it's a dark, cloudy day, and that's all the more reason to do some flowers. What we are going to do today is pick up where we left off. We had worked on this with the square brush. We learned these techniques, these strokes, to create these flowers. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to build on this. We're going to do a sample. You're going to want a piece of paper and your pencil, and we are going to do these arrangements. We're going to do a large one and a small one. We're going to put them inside a circle. So this one's sort of more like an oval, and this one's more like a circle. I'm going to pause for a minute, go get your water, get your paintbrushes and your pencil and paper, and then we will start. Welcome back to the Essence of Watercolor. Now you've got your pencil. We're going to start by making a circle. We're going to start with the larger flowers, and then we will go to the smaller flowers. As you can see, this arrangement is in a circle. This one was just spontaneous and it's just on the paper. When you're doing a card, you'll want to kind of have spacing for your lettering and other things. So if you make a frame, and that's basically what we're doing with the circle, it doesn't have to be exact. If you want it to be more precise, use something like a coaster or something to make your circle. It's just going to be a simple outline. This one on the bottom is just going to be kind of like an oval because you see the shape of it. It looks like it's an oval shape. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a little oval shape. Now I'm going to bring this a little closer so that you can see my circle. It's very light so I can erase it afterwards, but it's really about spacing. All right, now we're going to zoom back out. Well, we're going to try. All right. Now, in this circle, we're going to have 5 flowers. We're going to start with a larger flower. Then we're going to have like a medium-sized flower. And then we're going to have one that's a little bit smaller. And then we're going to have one that's a little bit even smaller. And then we're going to have a little tiny one. Now that you're done with that pencil, just go ahead and put it away and get your watercolor paints. I love having, a spray bottle for my paints because then I can just spray them so they have a moisture to them. And then I get my brush wet. And in this case, I'm going to go kind of like what I did here with my orange palette. And that means I kind of mix the yellows and the orange together to create my petals. Get your handy dandy water paper towel handy. And we're doing the flick again. And that means when you're doing the stroke that's called the flick, I'm not sure what it's called, but that's what I call it. You're going to take the corner and you're going to press down and pull up. You're going to take the corner, you're going to press down and pull up. And you're using this circle as your guideline. You're going to press and pull up. Press and pull up. Press and pull up. All right, so there's your first flower. Now you can wash off your brush or you can go and pick up a little bit of a different color yellow. I happened to pick up a little bit of green in there, which was in my palette, so I have a little green in my flower. And sometimes when you're working with yellows, it can get a little muddy looking. Don't worry about that while you're painting because watercolor always dries lighter than what it looks like when you're first starting. So you're going to press and flick, press and flick, press and flick, press and flick. Don't worry if it gets kind of wobbly looking. It's all right. It is okay. I'm going to pick up a little bit of that yellow and maybe a tiny bit of red, so I have a little different texture and color to my leaf, my petals. If you think I've got a cold and sound like I've got a cold, well, I do. I've got a little bit of a cold. And it's a rainy day, perfect day to be sitting and doing some watercolor. Good for the soul. All right. So now we're doing small strokes, turning the page, because sometimes it's just easier to do it like that. All right. Now that we're done with that, we're going to let that dry before we add petals to it. You could go ahead and add your petals and your stems right now. You'd have just a little bit more bleeding. This, if we take a minute and allow this to dry, then we can come back and put in the petals and the stems without it bleeding. That means we can go down here and work on this other one. It's almost like a little bit of a cameo. So you could cut this out and put it on a card, and it's just, you could do a lot of fun things with that. This time, we're still using the square brush. We're going to get into the greens, and we're going to start with making the stems. Now, you can make a solid line, or you can start with just dabbing it on the paper. And just kind of deciding where your stems are living, where they're coming from. And they're kind of going to the bottom here. Let's pretend like this is the ground that the flowers are coming out of. Now we're going to go pick up, I'm going to get into my reds here and probably pick up a little bit of purple. And now this technique is using basically the same thing as the flick, but you're going to do it very close. So you're not actually taking the brush off and turning the paper. Go ahead and pick up a little, maybe a little yellow or something. And it's almost like you're blotting it on, but you're still using the corner of the brush. And it's almost like a dabbing technique. And if it melds together and, flows together, don't worry about it. Just go for it. Okay, now I'll show you a little closer view. You can see it's kind of blended together, and you might go, well, that looks like a blob, and that is okay. Now you're going to clean off your brush, and you're going to go pick up some green. Now I would just pick up, I'm going to actually pick up the sage, not the bright green, but the darker green, and I'm going to tap it on my paper towel, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to add petals. And this is, again, I'm doing the flicking thing, but I'm not pulling it too far. I'm not worried about it reading exactly like a leaf. I just want to get some petals down on the paper. And if it bleeds into the flower, that is fine. Now I'm going to come back and I'm going to pick up a little bit of my green and I'm going to mix it with my sage. I'm going to dab off some of that water that I have, and I'm going to kind of complete the stems that I have here. I'm going to pull it very lightly. Pull it very lightly. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to add some more. going to fill this up because, you know, when you're looking at plants, you have lots of leaves. And this is your plant, so it can have as many or as little leaves as you want it to have. All right, now I'm not going to get too ground down in this. I'm going to leave it alone now. What I recommend when you're doing this is it's okay to have white spots. It's okay for things to blend and get mixed up. And it's okay to stop when you think you still need to do more. Stop and let it be, and then come back and look at it. Now we're going to come over to this one, and we're going to pick up, and we're going to add some leaves. And then I think my stem from this flower is going to live right here, and this one's going to kind of join it right there. And then this one's going to come down into here, and this one's going to be right there. And let's see, this one is going to be a loner and be right over here. Now just go ahead and finish doing this one very carefully so that you don't put your hand in the paint on the one below. If you love doing this or you have questions about how I'm doing this, please leave a comment. I'm very new to this video YouTube, so I do not have all the expertise and knowledge that some of these other people do. I'm here for fun. This is all about you having fun, playing with your paints, being creative, being inspired, and being encouraged to explore. All right. I think we need to have something right there. And we probably need to have a little bit of it. Okay. Now, that's it for today. This is what I want you to work on. Just making a circle and painting inside the circle, using the technique of using the flick method, the blobbing method, and next time we're going to do a little finishing touches to pieces like this. Thanks for watching. See you next time.